All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the O Show, and I'm here today with Austin Scott. What's up, Austin? How you doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Oh god.
Well, what's the joke, Austin? What's the joke?
I don't know. Not used to this. Not used to online anything. I don't know.
So you're not used to doing the podcast, or getting on in front of the camera and speaking in a microphone?
Mhm.
I don't think anybody is.
I remember I tried to do a YouTube video at one point, and I didn't look at the camera the whole time. It's just as awkward as making eye contact. It's just oh.
I mean, it's a little different, right? Because when you look at it, it's there's lots of other people on that side of the camera that are looking back at you.
Because it's just you can't see the person, but you just know in your head. You're there's going to be people watching this. And low key, you're just
you don't want to see it. It's I don't even want to imagine it.
Right. And then you watch yourself back and you're okay. This is...
So tell me what you've been up to. What's been going on with you? How's life been treating you?
Pretty good. Just going with day to day. I don't know. Trying to keep myself busy because I don't have a job right now, and being 8 months pregnant now.
8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So okay. So how does it feel to be pregnant? To be honest, right? Because I'm never gonna get to I'm not saying that I want to, but I'm just saying I'm never gonna feel that. So it's how does it feel? What would you tell a girl who was asking oh, I wonder what it feels like to be pregnant? What would you tell her?
The best way I explain pregnancy, and the physical feeling, it's have you ever been in a car seat and you feel like someone's knee go across? That's what it feels like in your stomach. You just feel
Are you saying okay, so when somebody puts their knee into your back, right? Because when you're laying back in the car seat, and somebody with long ass legs is sitting behind you, just shoving their knee into your back.
Yeah, and then you feel it move. It's you just feel the weird feeling of that, and then you just get bigger and bigger and feel it, and then that's the physical feeling of it. You just feel movement, weird movement. The I guess emotion. If I had to explain it all together in pregnancy, I'd definitely say that pregnancy is there's definitely phases to it, because when you first start, you feel kind of sickening changes, and then your second trimester is usually the easiest, and right now I'm in my third trimester. It sounds kind of fucked up, but your baby's kind of a little parasite. It takes all the energy and all your nutrients. So I used to not eat that much before I was pregnant, and I'm always hungry. Always.
Stay hungry.
Just stay hungry, and I stay tired. I could go to bed early, wake up at a good time, tired. I can be walking for 5 minutes. I'm tired. It doesn't matter.
I would assume, you're carrying the extra weight as well. And it's something that you're not, it's not something that you had all the time, right? So it's now you have a baby, and with that comes, the baby weight.
Yeah.
You got to carry that with you. And that's I could just imagine that, right? Out of nowhere, it's boom. Here's an extra 20 pounds on your back all day, every day.
Yeah, that's why when I walked in, you're are you okay? And I'm yeah, just give me a second. Because I'm we just got done walking, and then this is me sitting down. And I'm before we got here, I wasn't wearing these shorts. I was wearing normal shorts, but they were what are they called? High-waisted shorts, the ones with multiple buttons. None of them were buttoned because they didn't fit me. And that was still too tight. And I was we had to stop somewhere so I can buy shorts. So we just bought brand new shorts so I could wear them, because I was can't breathe. So that's what sucks too. You think you have a wardrobe until you become pregnant. Then it's just
it's all gone. You gotta get a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah, some clothes obviously you can keep until after you're pregnant, but it's it's still gonna be a good minute for you to lose the baby weight. And I'm just okay, because I was so skinny before I got pregnant. That's one thing that does suck. I was I got so skinny, and then the baby was just
He just came out of nowhere,
for real. I was okay, but
so wait,
a week before my 21st birthday.
Oh, okay. That's whenever you found out. Oh, yeah. Wow. So it was that birthday gift.
Yeah.
It's hey, here you go. Happy late birthday.
It's I guess I won't be buying myself
Early.
Eskimo hut like I thought. I was so excited for that.
Well, you're gonna have to wait.
Though. Yeah, I only have to wait 8 more weeks.
8 more weeks, and then you go into labor.
Yeah.
Are you excited? What do you plan on doing? Are you gonna So is it what like what do they call it? Is it just all
Induced?
natural or like induced or?
Yeah, so like the different things that you can get, it's either like natural or with like medication,
Mm-hmm.
or you can like try to induce yourself, or there's medically induced, or it's just the baby's coming. So like I obviously want epidural, because if you don't, there's a thing called the ring of fire, which without getting too graphic, it's just down there when it's stretching, it literally feels like fire, like burning fire, because it just burns to feel like
Wow.
your skin down there like just stretching open like all of a sudden. And like I'm like, to all the women out there who've done it, like, good for you, but it's not for me. I don't think so. And I'm just like, I'd prefer to get induced, because the hospital I have to go to, that my OBGYN goes to, it's 45 minutes away. If I go into false labor and we drive all the way down there and they're like, you're not in labor, this is false labor, we have to drive all the way back. So I'm like, I'd rather them be like, this is the date you can get induced safely, and then just do that. Which, by the way, sorry if I'm breathing heavily, because I run out of air really quickly.
Take your time. You know, you don't gotta rush through everything.
Yeah, just I'm a quick talker. That makes my run out of breath easier.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No, so like you know, I personally know, because you know we've talked about it, like we know each other. I know you're having a boy, but like, what is it like? Are you you know, obviously like you're excited to have a baby,
Yeah.
but it's like a little boy.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted a girl first, but like I'm not like disappointed, you know, like I'm not
Oh
like,
no.
shit, I'm having a girl. Like I'm just like, it's cool. And like people say, like, if you really think about it, little girls are like expensive. Like,
Oh yeah, you know you gotta get them the clothes, the makeup, right? When they get
all
older,
that,
at least.
yeah.
The
'Cause I'm
makeup, the
just like-
clothes, the bag, and it's like,
because if you get a little boy pair of shoes, what I've noticed, if they have one pair of shoes, they'll be fine with that pair of shoes forever. You go to the store with a little girl, she sees a new pair of shoes that are like sparkly. I want those, and you're like,
gotta have the new glitters, gotta have the new neon light shoes.
and since she's gonna be half Mexican, like we're probably gonna throw a quinceañera. That's expensive as heck.
I mean, you know, I've seen some budget quinceañeras that come out pretty nicely.
Probably, but I'm just like, that's still money out of your pocket
I mean,
for something that's not for a boy.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Hey, there's been some boys out there though that are like, hey, I want a quinceañero. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but I'm just like, I'm sorry. I think tux rentals are way cheaper than a whole dress, because you don't rent a dress, honey. You buy a dress.
Yeah, that's true. You know, maybe somebody should start a rental dress company. I wonder if how that would work.
That actually sounds pretty legit. Yeah.
Right? Like, would you have, like, you know, they rent out, or they'll put like dresses for prom out for loans, right? Maybe even wedding dresses. You know, because some people, they just wear them one. I mean, yeah, you're just gonna wear a wedding dress once.
Yeah, that's what I always wonder.
You
Because I'm
know?
just like, I feel bad for people who spend like $100,000 on their wedding dress, and I'm like, what are you doing after that? What is, like, if I'm spending that much on a wedding dress, I'm like, it better be a dress I can wear after this occasion. It better be something I
Every
can wear
day.
again. Right.
Better
That's
come
a
with
home.
better come with like some kind of voice integration in it or something. You know, change the temperature inside my
Right.
dress.
Oh my gosh,
That
for
is-
real.
That is crazy. No, there is some really crazy expensive weddings.
Yeah.
Oh man, how many kids do you plan on having?
I'm not gonna have. My plan is I don't want a next child until this child is 5, at least, just because I'm just like, I feel like that's a good time period, and this other kid will at least be old enough. Because this kid obviously wasn't planned, and I don't hate that I had it this soon. I'm like, it just is soon. Like, if I could have waited, I would have, but it's happening now, and I'm not mad about it. I wanted a kid, just not expected. Definitely not expected.
It's a blessing from God.
Yeah, that's why I'm also happy to have a boy, because like my father passed away, and it does give me like a sense of like comfort knowing that, like, because like most parents overall are like unconditional love. Like, your parents will always love you, you know, besides the fact people having abusive parents, but that's another thing.
Definitely.
So I'm just like, it's nice to know that I'll have another like boy to male figure in my life that will always love me unconditionally, and I love them unconditionally. So I'm just like, that was nice. So that's why, like, my kid has my father's name, like for his middle name.
Oh, really? Really? No, that's a good thing. You know, it's like a blessing. There was a loss, but then you got a gain.
For real.
And it's just, you know, for some people it's like that. I had one of my aunties, she couldn't have a baby for, you know, for years, for a couple of years, and she was trying and trying and trying, and she couldn't have one. And then the day came where my grandma passed away, and when that happened, I think about a week or two later, she found out she was pregnant with a little boy. And it's just like, to me, it's like, wow, like it's crazy. Like it was like, it seemed like somebody had to go before, the new could come in.
Yeah, it's like a weird circle of life situation.
Yeah, and that's what it was, right? Like the circle
Yeah.
of life situation. And it's just like, sometimes people don't think of that, or, it
Right.
might happen. And it's just like, it's crazy, it can't just be like coincidence,
For real.
coincidentally, right? Because like, it's like what you're saying, like that had happened to you, and like that reminded me of that, like happening
Right.
to my auntie.
Which I'm like, whether you believe in like a religion or not, I'm like, definitely me having a kid helped me go through the loss of my father, because I'm gonna say now, like, I didn't have the best coping mechanisms before I was pregnant, which like I've learned to deal with better now that I am pregnant, because it's just like, if I was not pregnant and my dad died, I probably would have like drank a lot, or I would have gone back into old like self-harming, or like just something like that, like bad things that I shouldn't have been doing, but that like, sorry, there's something in my eye, or something that I shouldn't have been doing, because like just the sadness of my father. Like I love my father dearly, so I'm like, I really feel like it would have taken a turn for the worse. But now that I had a kid, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't binge drink. I can't drink at all. Like I can't.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't go on
definitely.
like a THC binge. I can't do any of that. It's
Yeah.
just you have to deal with these feelings naturally. You have to process death naturally in a good positive way. So I'm like, all right. So I feel like this happening all at once has just made me realize, like,
Help you balance something out there,
yeah,
which is great. And that sounds like a beautiful thing, because there is a lot of people who struggle with that, and it's like they can't find a road back to their path. They just get derailed from their path, and they can't get back on there. And it's I'm glad that you were able to find a way in that, and that it worked out for you in the end.
for sure. And I'm just like, I feel like it helps you now, because like now, like the baby's gonna be here. Like I'm not gonna like, I don't think I would have overreacted with the baby here anyways. But like, I've had 9 months to figure out how to handle myself and my emotions. So I'm like, that was a really good like
It's preparation.
experience. Yeah, definitely a preparation.
Preparation before the wave.
Very hardcore preparation. I wish I didn't take my dad's death to do that, but it
Yeah,
happened.
no.
I'm like,
Everything's good though now. You're soon to have a baby.
all right.
Very excited for that.
And oh my god, just to go back to your one question, by the way, anyone who wants to know, you can't breathe. You literally cannot breathe. You can't fucking breathe. Like that's why I'm over here like,
Oh, with the
because you can't breathe. The kid's just so big and like it's just taking up so much room.
it's like you just filled up with like that Thanksgiving turkey in there.
Yeah, like oh my god, like the way I feel like try to like if you press out like try to press out your stomach as much as you can right now, and then put a bunch of weight in it. That's exactly what having a baby feels like. Like you like, and then like this weight, and you're just like, and you're like. I can literally be laying in bed, and Jose's like, "Why are you breathing heavily?" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut up! I can't breathe." He's like, "You're not moving." I'm like, "I don't have to move."
Like you haven't done anything. Like that's the point. Like why do you think I'm here? Like what the hell's going on?
For real, I'm like one time I felt so claustrophobic. Like I was just literally just in the room, and I was just like. And I like literally had to step outside and like breathe in fresh air, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die!" Like sometimes I'm like, I'm giving this kid an eviction notice because you gotta get out. You gotta get out.
Give him an eviction notice.
Yes. I'm like, "Oh, kid, get out." Like it's so sweet to feel him kick sometimes, but then sometimes you're just like,
Like, slow it down there, buddy.
"This
Slow
is
it
my
down.
body, and you need to remove thyself." So I'm like, "Oh my god."
You need to sleep next to a window or like put like a fan or something, to
That's
keep
why I
the,
told Jose, I'm like, I want a box fan again because
keep like constant airflow, it'll keep you cooled off, and then on top of that it's like you're breathing, right? Because the air is hitting you right there.
Right.
No excuses on why not to breathe.
It might sound gross, but like one time Jose was like kind of in my face sleeping, but like his breath in my face kind of felt like an inhaler. Cause like I felt like every time he'd breathe in my face, I'd like purposely try to breathe in the air he's breathing in my face, and I was like, oxygen from something else. Like it just felt like an inhaler for no reason. Any extra air was helping at that point.
So what's your first plans after having the baby, other than like caring for obviously you got to
Yeah.
care for the baby, but it's like, for you personally,
Um,
what are some goals you might have set up?
definitely Spend at least like 2 months bonding with the kid, you know, getting, because when the baby comes out, it comes out with no schedule, no sleep schedule, nothing, and you have to like put them on a track before you go to work. So like I told Jose that I want to have like 2.5 months at least for me and the baby, and obviously him, but like the baby to bond with us, and like us try to get it on a good sleeping schedule and a good schedule overall before I start a job, because I'm like, I don't want to just give birth and then immediately go to work and then me not spend time with the baby. Which, by the way,
Oh,
it's like
no, yeah,
no one
absolutely.
even takes care of newborns. If you like are like, I need a babysitter for newborn, people are like, no.
No, yeah, you should take care of your own baby in the first, couple of months for sure. You
Yeah.
can't just leave your baby with somebody, and some people do that or try to, to those who do accept it, and it's just, I don't know. I've always found that wrong. Like me personally, if I had my baby, I'd want to be at home like 24/7.
Right. I wish I could be a stay-at-home mom, but right now that's just not looking out like in the works. But what I really want to do, what we want to do is we want to move back to Oklahoma, and he's gonna keep his job at the casino, and he's gonna try to become a poker dealer. And what I want to do is I want to work at a dispensary, because I'm like, I just want a chill job, because before I was pregnant I was working like manly man jobs. I was working like shipping and forklifting, but I'm like, a lot of those kind of like risk your life in a way, and I'm just like,
So why don't you look into working from home? Like look for some companies out there
I'm
online.
trying to do that, but I'm just
and
like, what do
see.
you do from home?
Well, they'll assign you tasks. I honestly don't know, but I've heard of like I've heard of some companies where you can do like audiobooks where you actually are the reader, and you might read, a book a week or something, or a book a day or whatever, and you upload it and they pay you for that. It's just stuff like that, or like,
I hear my own voice and I'm like, I could not hear my voice reading. Like if I heard like my voice reading a book, I'd be like, I hate this book. I hate this book. It could be my favorite book, and I'm like, no.
I mean, there's stuff out there, you just have to look out there and see what you can find. I mean,
Yeah.
there's plenty, and then it seems like, right now with the pandemic and everything happening, it seems like there's a lot more people working from home,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna become like the new norm.
I just always wanted to work in a dispensary too. I'm like, that's like a chill job. I'm like, I'm not very like social.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can talk to people, but like, a part of me would be a poker dealer too. Like, before I was pregnant, like a part of me wanted to be a stripper at one point, but like, I realized that like, that's a lot of like pretending to be nice to people and like being like personal space. And then I just remembered how much I hate people like popping my personal space. I was like, that's not gonna be for me. Like Jose's little brother will literally like be behind me, and I'm like, don't hover, like don't hover over me. It's my biggest pet peeve. I'm like, do not hover.
So how did that like happen? Like what was it that made you like want to just be like, oh, you know what, maybe I should be a stripper?
I got skinny, and I was like, okay. And then my friend was just a waitress for a strip club, and she was making quite a bit of money. And I'm like, if you're making that much as the waitress, how much would I be making as a stripper? And I was like I'm down to make like 500 to 1K a night. And then I'm just like, but then I was like, and then I had like the pole for like workout, right? And just doing like workouts on a pole, tiring, like literally just like,
Yeah,
can I just like lifts?
Them girls gotta be fit for that, and it's
Fit.
crazy.
I give any props to strippers now though, because like literally just me working out for like the time that I could. I'm like, the amount of chafing that they probably get. So I'm like, oh my god, like props out to y'all. And then you also have to be like nice to people. Can't even be nice to people at McDonald's, like that.
You got to get really close and intimate with that job.
Yes, and I can't do that. I'm like, I get mad, like they expect that from you, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, you got to do that. That's why they're paying you, right? I guess.
yeah. And I was like, it's not worth the money. So that's why I'm like, dispensary, I could do that, because I'm like, they're talking to me about something I'm like pretty adverse on and like informed about. So I'm just like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I smoke low key too sometimes. So like, so if they're like, what kind is good, I'd be like,
Hit them with the numbers. Bam,
For
bam,
real.
bam.
You want an indica? You want a sativa? You want this? You looking for this? Because I'm like, that just sounds fun. I'm like, and then like I've always wanted to get like a journal and like try different strains and then like write my opinion on it, or maybe like
I wonder, now that I think that you're mentioning that, I wonder if they have, I'm sure they do, right? Because they got like beer tasters, right? So I wonder if they got, like some weed testers or whatever.
yeah, for sure. Because like what I've always wanted to do was like learn how to grow bud, and then what you do is the way they make new bud is say they'll get one strain of like California Kush and another strain of like Alien OG. They'll cross that. They'll like make
It's like
that
cross breed it.
yeah, and then like that's obviously a new strain. So then like it's like we'll smoke it, and then what is it? What does it make you feel? Is it a head high? Is it a body high? What does it make you feel like? And then like someone has to try that. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, you could be the tester, huh?
Yeah, well, sure. I can do that. Sounds nice as hell.
No, that would be crazy. Just testing weed all day.
Right.
I don't know. I couldn't do it. I feel like I'd be way too out of my mind. And for me, like I just like no, like I'd be stuck in my own thoughts or something crazy like that, right? Me personally.
Yeah, I'm like it really just depends because I'm like everybody's different.
Uh-huh.
That's where an indica would be good for you because I'm like some people like they're like I don't like to think, I don't like to overthink. I'm like, well, if you get an indica, it's just a body high. You feel good. You just feel good. Sativa is you're gonna think. It's very cerebral. So that's why I'm like, just depends. And if you want like a little bit of both, that's where hybrid comes in.
Oh, well, I mean, definitely moving to Oklahoma would be a step to do that, right? Like, you
Yeah.
could look into the dispensaries out there and everything and see what you could find to do.
True.
Because, I mean, Oklahoma, they're lenient with their law. Being that here in Texas, where it's like, no, they're still not part of it.
Yeah.
But I
for
feel like
real.
eventually they're all going to get there and they're all going to be
They
just
have to. 'Cause
legalize
I,
it.
like I always hate it that it's not. Because I just think about. I'm like, so what? Why are people in Oklahoma more entitled than people in Texas? So I'm like, so just not allowed to do something that the adults somewhere else are doing. Like, okay, what makes them better than me? Like, okay, guess I'll just not have the right to do something that somebody literally 15 minutes away from me has the right to do. That makes no sense.
Like, I've never even thought about it that way, but you're right. It's like, what? Like, the guy down the street can do it, but I can't? Like, what the fuck?
I'm like, okay.
That's wild. That really is wild. Like I've never thought about it that way, and it really is that way. That is crazy, man. And then it's like, yeah, your neighboring states, like you might be in one of those states where like everyone around you is just smoking all day. Like I went to California, and when I was out there, just walking in the street, you could smell it everywhere.
Yeah.
It was just like that was the air now.
That's the air.
Like that's the air. Like you're walking out there. I was walking in Sacramento, and I'm walking down the street at a gas station, and I'm like, I think I'm getting high walking down the street. Like that's how strong it was out there,
Yeah.
And it's just people just walk around. It's like a cigarette now,
Yeah, for real.
compared to like before, where like it was like, bam, we're gonna hit you with the book, with the law, with everything. And then honestly, it's crazy, man, because like it's like what do you think about all the people who have been arrested for those charges, right? For
I think
possession
that's
of
so
marijuana.
stupid. That's why they finally in Texas though, if you get caught with marijuana, it's not you're not going to jail. You're gonna get a ticket, which I'm like that's still stupid. But I'm like, but I'd rather get hit with a ticket than going to jail. Yeah, that stays on your record. And it doesn't just come up as weed; it comes up as a drug affiliation. So that could mean anything. Like,
Yeah, that
they're
could
like,
be misleading.
Yeah, like no, I'm not a meth head. I like to smoke the weed, and like it's so different too because it's just like some places are recreational, some places are medicinal. So it's just like, can we just make up our minds as a whole of the U.S.? Like I'm like, is weed legal or is it not? And do I need a medical card for it, or can I just buy it whenever for whatever?
Can I go get it out of the vending machine?
For real, like I'm like, okay, like Colorado, recreational. You don't have to have a medical anything to get it. Which I'm just like, why do we do the medical thing? You can go up to the doctor and say anything and they're gonna give you a medical card. No one's gonna turn you down for a medical card. So I'm just like, so why is this
Dang,
necessary?
Why not move to Colorado? No, too far.
Yeah, and also because now that I have a kid too, I'm like it makes me feel better to at least be like at least a couple of hours to minutes away from my family and like family in
No,
general.
yes, definitely.
Because the furthest we want to move is Oklahoma City,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, because that's like a city, and there's weed, and it's Marietta is literally, which no offense to Marietta, but y'all need to step up a bit because Gainesville's not the best, but that's just my hometown. But Marietta is just like Gainesville, but
Oh.
worse.
And for those of you who've never been to Marietta, it's like this tiny town. Whoa, what's it populated with? It's like maybe 200 people or something. I have no idea, to be honest. But when I went out there, it was like
Weird vibes.
it was dead, and there was like maybe like 3 restaurants in the damn place. There was like nothing out there. It was either between what was it? It was either between McDonald's,
They have a Carl's Jr. and
Carl's
Gainesville doesn't though.
yeah, Carl's Jr. and like I think that was it,
They have
honestly,
La
huh?
Roca.
Oh, and like a little Mexican spot, huh? Like that
That place is
place.
good.
Yeah, that place is good. I do remember eating there. That place was pretty good. It's just crazy though, because like they didn't really have nothing.
Yeah.
They had this like old hotel, right? Like they were like this hotel looked like it hadn't been used in years and years and years.
Yeah. And then it's just like the only thing that's like a plus in Marietta that Gainesville doesn't have is dispensaries. And I'm just like, everyone just weird vibes there, which I'm just like, it just could be the few people I've met, but I'm just like, I just think it's because they're bored or they're all just high or something. Because I'm just like, weird ass people. Like I remember, like when you see kids, they're like playing or like talking. Like I definitely don't see 2 kids just being completely still and quiet. Because like we were like we went to a library to like print something off, and they're outside, and these 2 kids were just standing right next to each other doing this. And I was like, okay.
Like, are y'all gonna play, or y'all just gonna stare at each other?
For real. And I'm just like, okay. Like, it looked like the Shining twins. And I'm just like,
oh yeah,
yeah, and I was
you
like-
can keep me away from that town. I'm not going back over there.
I was like, oh my God. Like, I feel like their parents just like whispered in there, like, if you don't shut up and sit still, I'm gonna beat you or something. Because they just like were deadly still. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, blink twice if you need help. I was like, okay. That was the first impression I had there too before we moved there, and I was just like, "This is what we're about to get into." Because somebody jokingly was like, "Would you let your kid go to the Marietta school?" And I was like, "No, I would not. I would
So
not."
you plan on just bringing them over into Gainesville, or?
Hopefully.
Oh,
By the
you know
time
what?
our kid is of age of going to school, we have like our stuff together to like go somewhere better. Because I'm like, I'd rather my kid go to the Gainesville school if need be. But if we go to Oklahoma City, I'm like, they probably have good schools there. I'd assume.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gainesville's like gotten their shit together, man.
For real.
It's like before when I was there, it was like they were going like they were like cracking down on kids like over the dumbest things, you know, like, oh, you don't got a belt on, like,
The year after
like,
I graduate, they stopped dress codes.
you know, and that was just
I
like
was
a
like-
waste of time. It was like a headache for everybody.
A waste of money too. And they're like, if everyone's wearing the same stuff, you don't get made fun of. And I was like, BS. Because now that we're all wearing the same thing,
Yeah.
they can see what brands you're wearing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
and I mean, and on
that's when
top of that,
Aeropostale came out. Like, not came out, but became big because that was just one of the biggest good clothes brands that you could get that was collared and stuff. So if you were just wearing like a normal collared shirt, like people were like, poor. Or they'd make fun of like the fake polo assassin shirts. And I was just like, oh my God. So like I just wear flannels. I was like, that's the way around it. Just wear flannels.
yeah, I don't know. Like to me, that was just crazy. I didn't like. I'd like, you know, I've been wearing like I wear black t-shirts all the time, right? So like I'd come into school and I still have a black t-shirt on, and they'd be like, hey, like you can't come in, like you got to go home and change your shirt. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
for what? Like, you know, like I guess my shirt is gonna make me dumb or something. I don't know. Like, you know, I guess I can't learn with the shirt on.
It was
Got the wrong
stupid.
shirt.
Yeah, they always told like if you didn't go and change or something, like you had to sit in ISS the whole day, and I'm like, so you're gonna apprehend my learning because I didn't want to wear this, or like I didn't want to take my hoodie off. Like when I was in middle school, I used to sweat a lot. I don't know if it was puberty, I don't know what it was, but like, oh man, like my friend, it's so funny because my friends used to like, we make fun of it now because like I would literally just be sitting in a room. Classrooms are genuinely cold. It'd be cold, and like I'd have under boob sweat, I'd have armpit sweat, I'd have sweat everywhere, and like that made me feel so uncomfortable with myself. So I'd always wear a hoodie, and like the teachers like, you can't wear a hoodie, you can't wear a hoodie.
Yes, you see, like they would be like, you can't wear a hoodie, you gotta have a belt, and it's like, you know,
your shirt has to be tucked in,
and you can't wear red, you know, you might buy a pair of shoes that comes with like red shoelaces or like blue shoelaces or green shoe, like, and you can't have that. You can't dye your hair, there was nothing, you couldn't really do anything
for real,
you know. And on top of that, like, they didn't really have that many activities for students like they do today. It's like now I hear like they got a fishing club, they got a golfing club, they got they had archery now too. And it's just like, to me, it's like they got all of these like really cool like things now, where else it's like, damn, when I was there, it was like everything that it was about there was like dress code, instead of putting like implementing those, like, you know, those activities that students can go out and have fun in and not be worried about what you're wearing, or, you know, what you don't have or what you have here.
For reals. It was so dumb. I'm just like, what about the people who don't have money for dress code every year?
That too. That was the other thing. You know, I remember when they first implemented the dress code, like I was in the office, and I was probably not in the office for any good reason. But like, I was in the office, and like I seen a parent come in, and they were screaming and yelling that they could not afford, you know, the standards of the dress code, you know, to buy those things for their kid, that they were barely surviving. Like, how are they going to afford to buy them a whole entire new wardrobe? And it's just like, it's crazy, right? Because it's like, you know, it's a lot of strain on some parents, because a lot of people are going through a hard time, you know. But I'm glad that they changed that, and I'm glad that they let that go, and instead they're putting their, you know, their money and their minds into activities for students.
Because it's extra money. It's like kids aren't going home and wearing their uniform. They're going home and wearing. So then it's just like, so then parents have to buy them normal clothes and dress code. Because I'm like, I don't want to go home and wear my black pants and collared shirt. I want to go home and wear normal clothes. So like, let's start just middle school. Like me, my frumpy ass, chunky little self, having my shirt tucked in and just sweat stains, and then like take off your hoodie, and I'd be like, no, like I don't want to, I feel uncomfortable because I sweat. You wouldn't sweat if you wore a hoodie. I'm like, it's not the hoodie. And everybody made fun of me because I would just have puddles like coming out of me, and I'm like, not my fault. You told me to mute the vibration of my phone.
Yeah, I know. I just like had it go off, but you know, I don't know how to I don't know how to stop the vibration, to be honest. But either way, like, let's cut it off here, and then we'll pick back up on another episode, you know?
Okay.
And we'll have you again and see what's going on. I guess I might be needed somewhere or something. But Thanks for coming in, Austin. It was nice talking to you. Is there anywhere like you would like people to follow you or anything like that on, by any chance?
Not really.
No. Hey, you guys heard that? Do not follow her. Leave her
don't
alone.
Dox me, please. One thing I did want to bring up though, just so like people don't like bash. I'm just like, it's not a bad thing when you said people try to give off their kids. Like sometimes it does. Like there's some parents who like have no money whatsoever, so like it's sad to like give your like newborn, but like I'm just like, if you do try to give it to family, like do not trust, like please people, like don't trust your newborn with like babysitters or stuff like that, because you're just like, I like try to like definitely try to spend as much time with your newborn, but if you can't and you have to go do other things, family. I just say family for sure.
Family always first, and family you can trust. Family you can trust. But all right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like. So that'll be it. Have a good day, everyone.
Buy my baby shower registry. Just do that.
Oh, yes. We're going to put that on the link, right?
Yeah.
There, or on the description below.
The link.